So let's just settle into our meditation posture. And again, check your feet and your legs, and have your sits bones raised. Check your hands. You know, they can, it's, you know, the meditation mudra I showed you all is, you know, what they talk about in the texts. But just for our purposes, if it's more comfortable for you to have your hands on your knees, or, you know, if you've been taught something in yoga a little bit differently or in another tradition that's more comfortable for you, you can do that as well. And then imagine your shoulders are aligned with your hips and your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. And just imagine your spine is lengthening. So you're coaxing all those muscles along the spine to lengthen. You're encouraging them to lengthen. As the head is reaching for the ceiling, the crown of the head. And now just very gently tip your head forward and put a bit of length in the back of the neck. And the eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose to a spot a couple of inches ahead on the ground if they were open. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. Just bring your mind to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the back of the eyes, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, back of the head. Relax the ears, the jaw, back of the tongue. Release any tension in the back of the neck and the shoulders. Allow them to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest, the limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And bring the mind to the breath. And how are you feeling this evening? What's going on in your mind? And so whatever that thing is, just allow it to be there without judgment. Just observe it and acknowledge it. And notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And just check if there's any sounds in your environment, whether it be in your home, outside your home, in the yard, on the street. And try not to run towards that sound with your mind. Just allow it to be there. And then just notice what is it that's distracting your mind, what's pulling you away. And then very gently bring your mind back. And let's bring to mind all those people of our life, our loved ones, those people we have constructive, happy relationships with. We can relax with them, share a joke, love and support them. And then there's those people in our life who we have a little bit more difficulty with. We're a little bit tense around them, if we see them at all. Maybe they've harmed us. Maybe we want to stay away. We push them away. And then there's those people who are strangers to us. And we don't really care about them much. We don't think about them. But their friend and their enemy and the stranger, first of all, they could possibly all change place at some time in your life. But they're all equal. They're all deserving of our equal concern, because each one of these people in these groups really just want to be happy, just like you. They really just want to be avoiding all kinds of suffering and problems, just like you. And they have this incredible capacity for this enlightened mind, just like you. They're just the same as us, no different. So I think we'll do this meditation, this Vajrasattva purification tonight for all the people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And as I've been saying, if you do have a friend, family member, or someone who you feel would benefit from doing a practice like this, but they're not maybe Buddhist, or they don't have time, not really interested, you can just imagine them here with us. Come and put them by you, sit them next to you. Just imagine they're here doing the practice as well. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind. So tonight we're going to create positivity instead. And we purify by applying the four opponent powers. So this is what we do now. So the first of these is the power of regret. And as I've been saying, Rinpoche says, this idea of regret, or feeling regret in your heart, it's taking responsibility. It's not, oh, I'm so guilty, I did this bad thing. It's, I regret I did this. Okay, so what can I do about it now? I'll try and make amends. So you regret from the depths of your heart anything you've done on this day, in this life, to harm another sentient being. Think of specific actions of your body and your speech. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. Everything we experience is due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we don't want that. So it makes sense to pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen as suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, our delusions. And think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, okay, again, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. And we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, or Vajrasattva, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're not wanting that. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. We're doing this ourselves. It's kind of like taking medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine this is your teacher, your spiritual mentor, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential. Born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. So here's this radiant, beautiful face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for us. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And they're being crossed represents a union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So, in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, have compassion for them. So think of someone, bring someone to mind who you've harmed recently or in the past, and develop a sense in your heart for them to be free from suffering. And then think of somebody who has harmed you, and although can be a bit difficult, this one. Imagine them, have compassion for them, because the suffering they've caused you is going to ripen for them in the future, probably at a pretty inconvenient time. So have kind of compassion for them for that, and make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So next we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we, first of all, are purifying the body, and we're using nectar and mantra recitation to do this. So Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose or from a waterfall or from a shower, forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around, it enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebowa sutokaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebowa sutokaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebowa sutokaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebowa sutokaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebowa sutokaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebowa sutokaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dita mebowa sutokaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with the body. So the next is a purification of your speech, all of our speech. And again, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around, quite forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of the body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech, and that includes like swearing and saying unkind things to people, shouting at people, and useless speech, careless speech, and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasiti Mimpi Yato Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Duda Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasiti Mimpi Yato Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Triyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Savasiti Mimpi Yato Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yato Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yato Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yato Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yato Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. So the next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's the same as when you walk into a room, a dark room, and you switch on a light. So that light instantly dispels the darkness. It's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all our delusions, all the attachment and grasping and neediness and depression and anger, resentment and jealousy, bitterness and grudges, all of this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yato Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yato Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yato Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yato Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dude meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe So be delighted, all your delusions, which are the source of your suffering for each of us. All of our delusions are the source of all of our own suffering. It's what causes us to suffer. And also what causes us to harm others with our body and our speech when we lash out. So imagine all of those delusions are totally gone, finished. And there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So the next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar. And if you wish, as you're imagining the light and nectar, you can recite a couple of mantras each for the visualization of the body, of the speech, and of the mind, or you can imagine just light and nectar pouring in, filling you completely, and eradicating even the subtlest obscurations or imprints of negative energy from your mind as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Now feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed to your enlightenment. So next is the power of resolve. And again, just rejoice, you know, feel happy you have the mind who want to turn up to this night after night after night, listening to me say the same thing over and over again. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So there must be something about this practice that's giving meaning to your life. So rejoice for that. This is a very, very powerful practice. But we have to do it. We have to put the effort in ourselves. So all of you here are doing that. So I'm rejoicing. It's fantastic. Thank you. So then we rejoice in the effort that we've been putting into and the progress that we've been making at getting on top of all our bits and pieces, our habits. And this determination to not harm again, or not to harm, to try not to harm with our body and our speech and our mind, is kind of making this determination, making a decision, gives us the courage to change. And without it, we're just going to repeat patterns, dysfunctional patterns that harm ourselves and others. So this aspiration to refrain from harming is kind of like a beacon that guides us. So think of something that you want to commit to just between now and tomorrow, whether it be just for 5 minutes or 30 seconds, and stick to it. Just one little tiny thing, one tiny job. And then be happy that you're actually doing something for yourself. That's very, very positive and actually quite nurturing. And this determination to work on these habits of ours, it's what gives us the strength to try and change. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think my guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE calls this union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level your mind understands emptiness, just try and place your mind there for just a moment. So we can think of all phenomena as being empty, not existing from their own side, or perhaps we can take a step back and realize that perhaps the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the positive energy, all the merit we've created this evening by doing this purification to all the living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. For His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. O tub shul chang shin jam gan Galloway, Tenzin kyang pelaway kunzo dog porze. Chog sum kurwe leg mon to drum. Padag sog dulje gondu jab ten shog. Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. For Geshe Shara, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Well, thank you so very much, everybody. Lots of love, sweet dreams, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Shayla.